I pozdrav ljudi na svima, točno tamo gdje smo stali. Okej, ti si
Down, my boy.
Good evening, Mr. Fiddick.
Good evening, Dr. Reid. Any news about my operation?
Is there anything else that's bothering you? Can I help in any way?
Really? Why has no one else asked me that since I got here? I thought I was in a hospital.
Unfortunately, you are not the only person who needs help. And complaining about it won't do you any good.
Well, perhaps you're right, Dr. Reid. I'm sure if me missus was still alive, she wouldn't be happy with me going on like this.
Goodbye for now, Mr. Fiddick. I'll see you later.
You always knew the words to calm the children.
With me.
What a blundering idiot.
Good evening, Mr. Goswick. How are you?
I'm okay.
Do you need any help?
Thank you, Dr. Reid, but you've done enough already. The rest is up to me now.
I have to go now, sir. But don't hesitate to contact me if you need any help.
I'm all right. Don't waste your time with me.
Good evening, Doctor. How is my son doing?
Okay.
Do you require medical attention as well, Mrs. Goswick?
Do you know you're the only one who's asked me this? No, I don't feel well, actually.
Despite what you think about this place, I can tell you with absolute certainty, taking this will help you recover.
Well, at least your reputation seems well deserved. Unfortunately, I can't say the same for this hospital.
Goodbye, Mrs. Goswick.
Doctor.
I'm sorry you ended up on a plain and cold medical bench, sir. I understand you must be very angry about this unfair situation. I managed to arrange to have you buried in the same mass grave as your wife.
You don't mind if I search your pockets, do you, sir? You won't need any of these anyway. I'm not stealing from you, mister. I'm only redistributing your belongings to people who need them more than you. You see, no one has claimed your body, sir, so it would be such a shame to bury you with your valuables. I will not forget you, sir. And I thank you for your generous donation.
I on je govno s kojim je.
It's locked, all right. Good evening, Milton.
Good evening, Doctor. Still trying to save lives?
I'd like to see your goods.
Wise choice, Dr. Reid. A reliable gun is what everybody needs these days.
Details. 35 stan. Uh, 35, 12, 47.
than I thought last summer's epidemic.
Good evening, Milton.
Good evening, Doctor. Still trying to save lives?
Do you need any medical help, Milton?
I'm afraid I do. Like everyone in this hospital. It's a sad state of affairs when even the hospital workers are worried about disease.
Our job brings us into contact with all kinds of infections, Milton. There's no shame in being ill while you're in a hospital.
That's easy for you to say, Doctor. I get the feeling you don't fall sick often. But thanks anyway.
Goodbye, Milton.
Ok, kada su onako kao crveni, svetli, kako bih je rekao, onda to ne znači da oni mene vide, kako bi rekao, glup sam pa ne znam ni pričat. Ne znači da oni gledaju šta ja radim, nego ja mogu da gledam njih šta oni rade dok misle da ih niko ne gleda. Za tebe sad imamo I hint.
Good evening, Dr. Reid. Such a pleasure to see you again.
Do you need medical attention?
Well, the proximity of the dead is not the most healthy company, even if the quiet can be appreciated.
Don't take too many risks with your health, Mr. Chidana. None of us are immune to this disease.
And that is a good thing. Death and disease is a constant reminder of our mortality. But you have my thanks, Dr. Reid.
Personal question.
How dare you steal from the dead, Rakesh? Is that what your pawnbrokers is really about?
These people are dead, sir. What they possessed could be useful for the living. And I'm sure they would agree if they could speak.
Whatever your motives, you're making money by stealing from the dead. Dr. Swansea should be informed.
No offense, sir, but Dr. Swansea is one of my customers. As I told you, I like to help people, and everybody needs help from time to time.
Do you need medical attention?
I'm feeling all right, Doctor.
Izvinjavam se, glup sam.
Tell me the truth about your appointment as a medic during the war, Rakesh.
The regiment administration appointed me by mistake. I had to learn the job on the spot, sir. Very hard, sir, but I rose to the challenge.
Do you realize how many soldiers died because of that decision? You should have refused.
Yes, sir, I swear I did, sir. But no one listened. When the first wounded arrived, I had to do what I could.
It is an unbelievable story, Mr. Chidana.
It was a time beyond belief, Dr. Reid. But I'm happy not to deal with the wounded. I prefer caring for the dead now.
You can't impersonate a doctor. You can't improvise a medical education. People could die at your hands.
You're absolutely right, sir. But as a field surgeon, it was more like being a butcher.
Do you believe you have really helped these people?
My ratings were within the averages of the regiment. I saved lives, Dr. Reid. Does that not say enough about triage and war surgery?
Goodbye, Mr. Chidana.
O, čekaj,
Good evening, Dr. Reid.
Please show me what you have.
Of course.
stvarno. I ovdje mi je pokazivalo bilo, sad šta je. je još zaražen? Ima li ih? Samo ti. Aha.
How can I be sure I'll not find your unconscious body in the house again?
I promise you, you'll not find my unconscious body.
For God's sake, how can you say such a thing?
How can you refuse to listen? I tried to warn you for so long.
No, I won't let my only son die. You promised me you'll stay alive.
Your son lied to you, like the whole world lies to us.
Okej, dobio sam i hintove za njih sad. Za njega.
Good evening, Nurse Brannigan.
Good evening, Doctor.
Oh. Ali.
Do you require medical assistance, Nurse?
I will be fine as soon as I can get some sleep.
Nurse, you won't be able to help people if you're sick. Take this, and do try to get some rest.
I'll try, Dr. Reid. Thank you.
Why does Dr. Tippett's claim you're the main reason he keeps working, despite his fatigue?
If it wasn't for him, I probably would have left the Pembroke years ago.
Dr. Tippett does not think of you as just a nurse anymore, does he?
If you're suggesting he's not taking my gender into consideration when it comes to medical practice and knowledge, I really hope he doesn't.
According to the report I read, your unprofessional conduct put a patient in danger, Gwyneth.
That's not true. I know when my patient's life is at risk, and I'm more competent than a lot of doctors that I know. Problem is, I'm a woman.
I don't see what your gender has to do with your abilities, nurse.
Yes, nurse. Because I'll never be a doctor, no matter what my skills. I could make a decision that could save a life, but oh no, that's unbecoming conduct.
Have you heard of Elizabeth Blackwell? She was the first woman listed on the UK Medical Register. Change is slow, but it will come. And you will always have my support.
To have the right to study shouldn't be determined by sex, skin, or wealth. That's all I'm saying.
Goodbye, nurse. Call me if you need assistance.
Sad. Czekaj, tebi sam pokupio neki hint.
I will not let you down, my boy.
Good evening, Mr. Goswick. How are you?
I'm okay.
Admit it, Mortimer. Your mother had you hospitalized here because you tried to kill yourself.
Yes, it's true.
All right, then. This is the first time we've really shared information about your case. Shall we call this progress?
Call it what you want, Dr. Reid.
You can trust me. I won't report you to the authorities. My one and only concern is your health.
I guess I should thank you, then.
Can I help you in any way, Mr. Goswick?
I wrote a letter for my mother. She was supposed to read it after my death. But I suppose she doesn't have to read it now.
I see. And is this letter still near the place where you tried to take your own life?
Yes. And I don't want anyone reading my last words. I mean, I'm still here. If you bring me back that letter, then perhaps we'll talk.
circumstances, I'm willing to give you the benefit of the doubt.
Tell me about yourself, Mr. Goswick.
I don't want...
How painful is your throat, Mr. Goswick?
So painful I'd
Čekaj, ovo
rather
sam
not talk
pitao,
at
jel
all,
tako?
Doctor.
I have to go now, sir. But don't hesitate to contact me if you need any help.
I'm alright. Don't waste your time with me.
Ok, kod koga sam još video da može... To jest da ima... Da je onako crveni.
We are horrific.
The pain.
Mapa, vamo. New dialogue is available.
What news, Jonathan? I've heard you've now joined the vampire elite of London.
Did Elizabeth tell you?
So it's Elizabeth now. My. Things are moving quickly. I turn my back for a moment and away you go.
Have you seen Lady Ashbury recently?
Yes, she popped in yesterday. Told me about your new friends in the West End.
Just a courtesy visit, then.
Yes. And no. She was en route to the docks, I think. Following a lead concerning your maker.
How's the situation at the Pembroke?
We're still holding out. Question is, for how long? What we really need is hope, Jonathan. Hope for a better tomorrow.
I may have found the source of the contagion. Doris Fletcher, the actress. Thankfully, in the end, she was destroyed by fire.
Really? Oh, please, do tell me more.
Doris was a heavily mutated skull. Almost a new breed entirely. It's as if the disease had completely altered her mind and body. Highly contagious.
As if the disease had taken control of her will?
Yes. Once a beautiful and brilliant woman, she became motivated by hate alone.
Oh, she was a beauty. I met her when she visited the hospital to cheer up the sick. Too bad the fire destroyed her. But it was probably for the best.
Have you heard of similar cases?
No, I don't think so. Except, perhaps, it reminds me of an old report from the Brotherhood. Well, more an article, really.
What was it about?
The author, a friar, referred to a rare form of contagion in a skull he observed during the Black Death. The carrier was always female. They called them ichors.
I'll come back later. Thank you, Edgar.
Always a pleasure to see you, my friend.
Safer here than anywhere else in the East End.
Tebi malo fali, mogu li i tebe nekako da posmatram? Tebi ne fali ništa. Sad vidio. Možda, možda.
I've never seen so many people dying at the same time.
Only a matter of time before the Pembroke closes its doors for good.
Can you remind me why we still work here?
Dr. Reid will help straighten things out in Pembroke, remember?
Hey, Doc.
I'm still waiting to see him.
Well, that's reassuring. Gives me courage.
Do you ever think about that poor fellow I saw you push in the water?
The wound he gave me will make sure I don't forget him. Still fucking hurts. Boss had cut me good.
That man was determined to murder you. You almost died.
What a surprise. The first time I met him, he nearly shit himself. Fucking coward. I guess revenge gives you balls.
What did he want? Revenge?
I recently had to kill his brother. Poor arsehole thought it would be easy to return the favour.
Only the strongest survive, then? Survival at all costs. Is that all you think about?
I'm the toughest bastard you'll ever meet, Dr. Reid. And I don't give a fuck what you think of me.
How is your hospitalization going, Mr. Cox?
This is a shitty place with shitty staff. But as long as I'm treated all right, I'll be fine.
Okay.
What's wrong with the Pembroke staff?
That bastard you sent to bring me here, Milton. I thought he was going to break all my bones before I reached my bed.
I see. Any other smart comments?
The nurses aren't too ugly. Especially that foxy one, Nurse Crane. Pretty brunette, tough attitude, oh, I like that.
What's wrong with the hospital?
Come on, Dr. Reid. The place is a dump. Smelly, sad, and dirty.
But you're alive thanks to the efforts and dedication of the staff here, aren't you?
What are you expecting, a medal? I thought that saving lives was just part of the job. Must be an unsatisfactory profession at this time, I'm sure.
Okay.
How long do you think you can escape the law, Clay?
I know this city like the back of my hand, Doc. I know its streets, who to pay, who to avoid, and who to bully. I won't get caught.
The police may be slow, but they will find you eventually.
Well, how come you didn't turn me in then? Nah, Doc, I figure you have something to hide so you can't ask the coppers for help.
Glup sam, bravo ja.
What can you tell me about your marriage, Clay?
Marriage is the sweetest cage, they say. Well, I found myself locked in one with a wild animal.
You mean your wife keeps you on your toes?
No, I mean, we both have claws and we both love to bite.
Am I right to assume your wife's letter pissed you off, Clay?
I was so mad, I threw away the knife she got me when we got married.
Your wife gave you a knife as a wedding present.
That knife has always been my lucky charm. If I'd had it in my hand when I got stabbed on that pier, I'd not have been wounded.
Do you want it back?
I don't need it here, but if you'd be kind enough to bring it to me, I'd be really grateful.
A grateful Clay Cox? I might just find your knife and bring it back to you to see that happen.
I can give you directions, but I'll be surprised if you manage to find it. My hideout isn't meant to be found easily.
A lucky charm.
Text.
I never would have taken you as the superstitious type.
We all have our flaws, Doc. Mine's to have my weapon of choice for when the really dirty business comes around.
I'll leave you for now, Mr. Cox.
Wow.
In this letter, Mortimer Goswick does nothing to hide his desire to die. I could give it to his mother, but doing so would betray his trust. It's locked.
Ok, nećemo dodati njegovoj majci. Dobro, s revolverom je dobro. Uh, 15 plus 10 sekund. Čekaj, je li to kao 18 plus 10 ili? Da, to tako radi. Tako radi, znači 18 plus 10. Ovo bi bilo 15 plus 10. Imam sekiricu. 220. Onako. Sekirica ima i stan. Nećemo sekiricu upgradeovat. Baton. Ništa toga. Mislim da je to što se tiče oružja. Nećemo ga izdati. Predat ćemo pismo njemu, ne njegovoj majci.
Good evening, Mr. Goswick. How are you?
I'm okay.
I have retrieved your letter, Mr. Goswick. I can assure you that nobody read it but me.
Thank you. This is for you, then. For your help. And for your silence.
I think you should talk to your mother. It would be good for both of you.
Thank you, Dr. Reid. I'll think about it. Now please, let me be.
I have to go now, sir. But don't hesitate to contact me if you need any help.
Good evening, sir.
Wasted too much energy for so little result.
It's here again. I wish I could be sick again.
See them fancy clothes? This one's a top! He's dead!
This must be Clay Cox's knife. A fine blade. No wonder he wants it back.
Sad što se noža tiče. Očekivao sam da mogu da ga zadržim i da ga upgradeujem. Dobro.
Pembroke is so lucky to have Dr. Reid, you know. I met him in New York.
If only there were more,
less
resignation and more determination.
I know I can count. I wish I could say the same for the others.
Bilo.
Hey, Doc.
I have found the gift from your wife.
In that case, you'll be properly rewarded, Doc. Clay Cox is a man of his word.
I hope that won't make me an accomplice to your future crimes.
Who knows what I might do now I feel invincible again.
I'll leave you for now, Mr. Cox.
Jesus, I've never seen so many people dying at the same time.
Ok, vas trojica ste bolesni. Da, tu smo uzeli za ovo što misli da je vampir. Onaj, kad je mislila da je traže. Kako se zove? Ne ti nego, za nju smo rešavali misiju baš ovdje. Gdje ja treba da idem? Da.
Look at it! Vicious bugger! Filthy piece of shit!
Ove budale kucaju svugdje unaokolo. Šta se vamo dogodilo? Bravo. Okej, da, idemo u dobrom pravcu. Edo kurac. Aha, sad te vidim.
Good evening, Mr. Swanborough.
Is it you, Dr. Reid? Please come in.
Okay.
Tell me, how do you see the world these days?
What can I do for you, Doctor?
Finish your task.
Here is another page of the diary we were talking about.
Ah, now we're talking. Ingredients, dosages, dangers, and side effects. This is it.
Is the diary complete now?
No. The author tested his work in a hidden laboratory. We must find out where it was. Please, find me more pages, Doctor.
More pages, but...
Goodbye, Mr. Swanborough. I'll leave you now.
Tell me, how do you see the world these days?
What can I do for you, Doc?
Goodbye, Mr. Swanborough. I'll leave you now.
What kind of gentleman pays visits to people at this late hour?
I've heard so many bad things recently, I'm almost glad I can't see them.
Očigledno ne tako. U redu, idemo kod njega i nadam se da ste uživali u ovoj epizodi. Vidimo se u sljedećoj i čao.
Good evening, Mr. Swanborough.
Is it you, Dr. Reid? Please come in.
Wandering in this part of town at night, you're